Hello and welcome to Wyrd Wessex. My name's Andy.
And I'm Craig.
Craig, you are looking
Yeah.
like a pumpkin.
I have dressed like a pumpkin, ready for Halloween.
Indeed, I feel like I've got a little pumpkin candle up there, but that's about it. I mean, my face is scary. That'll do.
It's terrifying.
So, what are we talking about today, Craig, on this holiest of unholiest of days?
Well, anyone that's been listening for a while will know that a short while back we did an episode on a few different random kind of cryptid creatures, didn't we? And on that we talked about pitting cryptid against cryptid. And so that is what we're going to do today.
Indeed. And hasn't it been our anniversary recently?
Well, technically, I suppose it's today, isn't it?
It is.
As this goes out. So happy
Now-
2-year anniversary. Yeah, so in order to pick our cryptids, we thought we can't really just choose a number each, right? So we wanted to make it fair. So I've bought a deck of cryptid trump cards. So yeah, so I've used that deck to draw. I've had to draw for Andy as well. So we had our list. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a little rundown of each one. We're going to pit them against each other. And we're going to see who wins and hopefully argue loads.
Yeah, I mean, you know, sort of as we consider ourselves leading experts in, well, pretty much everything, we may argue against what the cards say, we may argue for it.
But before we start, Andy, I think we should probably give a quick kind of breakdown as to what a cryptid is. So I've got like a version of the Oxford English Dictionary's definition of a cryptid. Because I've been thinking about this a lot in the build up to this. Because some of the cards I don't think are cryptids, which isn't any shade on the...
I'd agree, but you know, you'll see which ones. We'll mention it, I'm sure.
Well, there's some we haven't picked as well that I've seen in the deck that I'm like, okay. But anyway, so a cryptid is quite simply an animal whose existence is either disputed or completely unverified by mainstream science. The word comes from the Greek kryptos, meaning hidden. And these are the hidden animals sought out by cryptozoologists. While legendary creatures from folklore like dragons or griffins aren't strictly cryptids, creatures like Bigfoot, the Yeti, or the Loch Ness Monster are prime examples. They're unknown animals that have been reported and studied, but for which concrete scientific evidence remains elusive.
I like that. I mean, you could argue, for example, that certain sightings of dinosaurs, there was a bit of a fad a few decades ago where people thought there were going to be there were dinosaurs walking around sort of in the Congo and places like that. And I guess even though they thought they were once living things, you know, that were now extinct, I guess by their definition, they were sort of cryptids as well, you know?
I think they've become cryptids, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there was a spate, wasn't there? I don't know whether there still is, but there were... and this wasn't even in the Congo. This was just random people on the street were seeing pterodactyls.
I want to see a pterodactyl.
There was some really weird stuff. I heard it on a podcast many years ago. Maybe we should cover it one day. But there's some really interesting stories out there about people that say they saw a pterodactyl in the sky.
Yeah, another one that I quite liked was Komodo dragons. Now, I know they're not cryptids, they are real. But there were these reports of this massive one roaming around, and someone said they sort of hid and saw its head poke around the corner, and it was like about 6 foot long, like just the head, you know. And I loved the idea of it when I was a kid, but yeah, I think that's kind of I guess, does that count as a cryptid, a much bigger version of a regular animal?
I don't know, because then the definition says that they're not dragons or griffins.
Yeah, but Komodo... All right.
There's dragon in the name, mate.
Fair enough.
It gets complicated, as I say. That so I may as well bring it up now. So there's a card for Indrid Cold, which was this guy, apparently a cryptid, that kind of started to make appearances and communicate with only one particular person during the Mothman sightings in Point Pleasant. Now, I would deem him potentially as extraterrestrial, if anything, which is a different category.
Yeah, he's a creepy one, though, isn't he?
The grinning man or the smiling man, I think he's sometimes known as. But yeah, I don't know. He is listed as a cryptid. I was hoping to draw the card myself, that proves I didn't rig it because I was hoping to get that so I could argue that he wasn't a cryptid and he loses immediately.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's been something to think about for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I guess yeah, I think everyone probably has their own sort of kind of definition of a cryptid or fits things in that aren't necessarily out of the realm of it, but it's kind of a stretch. I mean, I guess the whole thing's a bit
Yeah.
of a stretch, you know?
So yeah, so these aren't things we've chosen anyway. They're from a deck of cards. So if you think something we bring up isn't a cryptid, then, blame the manufacturer, I guess. Here's their email address.
Indeed.
No, I like these cards. We'll show the cards as we go along as well, because there's some really interesting artwork on them, I think. Doesn't say who does the artwork either, but
Well, as we are not drawing this in a competitive game in the strictest sense, shall we just work through our decks in order?
that was my plan, is that these are the order they were drawn in. So I drew a card for Andy and a card for me into two piles. And actually what I did is I drew two piles face down and then I got Emma to pick a pile that was mine and a pile that was Andy's. So that's just to add more randomness.
So, everyone, if I win, then it is my victory, my righteous victory on this holiest of unholy days. If I lose, then it's Emma's fault.
So shall we start with our first round? Because
Yeah.
we've got eight cryptids each. So this gives us a quarterfinal, semi-final, and a final is the plan.
Do you want me to start or do you want to start?
I can let you start if you like.
Ready, fight.
I think most of us experience this at some point or another. We've woken up, unable to move, gripped by some sort of dread terror, swearing there is some horrific, malevolent force hanging just above us, looming over us. This is a shadow person. The shadow people could be spirits, they could be demons, they could be interdimensional beings. They might be memories, our past or future selves. No one really knows. But throughout history, throughout the world, people have experienced these things. And it is a pretty chilling phenomenon. And one that I think a lot of people, compared to a lot of cryptids, have encountered in one way or another. And there are tales of them communicating with people, tales of them warning people, tales of them threatening people, even driving people mad. If you want to know more about it, I think there is a very good podcast episode on them somewhere or another. But yes, it could just be sleep paralysis, though. Who knows? But my first cryptid is the shadow people.
It's like shadows, not like people.
Shadow people, shadow people.
Shadow people are going to be against my first one, which is the Momo Man.
Oh,
Yes, and I'd not heard of this before, but
I have not either.
okay, so yeah, the Momo Man is also known as the Missouri Monster. So we're talking about a US legend here. Um, and it centers around a frantic period in the summer of 1972 in the small, unsuspecting town of Louisiana in Missouri. The creature's reign of terror began with a highly credible sighting by the Harrison family near Marzolf Hill. Two young boys were playing in their backyard when they began screaming, and their older sister Doris looked out to see a massive 7 foot tall figure covered in thick black hair standing at the edge of the woods. Now, crucially, the beast had a distinctive round pumpkin shaped head and was
Ooh.
described as carrying what appeared to be a deceased bloody dog. This incident was quickly followed by a rush of reports from other respected citizens, including local fire chief Richard Allen Murray, who caught a glimpse of the bipedal figure in his headlights. But what truly sets Momo apart from other North American ape men is the combination of its bizarre, almost clown-like head and its signature overpowering stench, described as a putrid, sickening odor. The sightings led to a media frenzy and the formation of a 20-man armed posse to hunt the beast, though it was never captured. Be funny if I'd said, and they caught it, and here he is. Footprints deemed to be those of an unknown primate were found along with mysterious sounds and even reports of strange lights in the sky near the sighting area. So was it Bigfoot being let out for a wee? We don't know. But there's the sightings tapered off. But the stories of a massive foul-smelling creature with a strange head remains one of the most uniquely weird encounters in American cryptid history.
So,
Mm.
Bone Man versus Shadow People. Now, neither of them, well, I don't know. I'd argue the Shadow People have potentially done more harm to people.
Do they harm people though? Because they tend to loiter, right? They're
They do
loiterers.
loiter, but that loitering can be very annoying. They've inconvenienced people. No, I think they can cause distress and the like, you know. Um,
Okay. But the Momo Man could physically probably tear them in half.
has it though? Is there an account of an attack?
Well, there's the dead dog that it was
Yeah, I
carrying.
suppose. I suppose. Isn't that just like a decoration?
Maybe. I mean, in your defense as the shadow people, I would argue that the Momo Man has no way of grabbing hold of a shadow person because they're not physical.
This is true. It'll, attack it and cripple it with its sleep paralysis power, right?
Well, that's it. They mostly work on fear, though. So then, does fear work on the Momo Man? Is the big question, isn't it?
See, the thing is, if I experience a shadow person in the traditional way, I would probably think, fuck, this sucks, this is horrifying, but this is also sleep paralysis.
Mm.
Whereas if I saw the Momo Man awake, I'd be like, oh my God, what the hell is that?
Yeah. Also,
Um,
every time we say Momo, I think of the Momo King, which is we like Momo dumplings from this place that sets up a stall in Devizes whenever there's like an event on in the town.
I don't know if that's a franchise or not. I swear I've seen something similar. Anyway,
Could well be, but either way, I can't help but think of the Momo dumplings, which
so
is
you'd
like,
see it, you'd shit yourself, and then be like, actually, I'm quite hungry for dumplings.
yeah, yeah.
I'm going to say yours probably does have more physical threat, but I'd say mine has a maybe not a richer mythos because I prefer the stories like the Momo Man, those kind of folklore stories. However, I would say the Shadow People are more famous and probably more widely encountered outside of Louisiana.
Okay, I mean, we need to decide this somehow. So we do have stats on the card, and obviously I
Okay.
can see them and you can't, which is not the normal way you'd play trumps. So if I tell you what categories we have, maybe
Hmm.
we get you to pick a category that we pitch on each one against them. So if we make it the
Okay.
same category each time, how's that? And we decide
Let's
who
do it.
wins.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
So you can either have fear factor,
Hmm.
strength, stealth, deadliness, or mythos. And the one with the highest number wins, right? So pick a category.
See, I know one that could win. Stealth seems the obvious answer to me to win for the Shadow People.
So yes, in that case, you win. So you have a stealth. It's not much in it, to be honest. They have a stealth of 10 versus the Momo, which is 6. Because he was seen at the edge of the woodland, right? He's been sort of
Yeah.
seen in the peripheral almost. So
Yeah.
he's almost stealthy too. But yeah, it wins. It wins if you go on that one. So round one is to the shadow people.
To the Shadow People.
Now, are we going to pick a different category each time? I think that's the only fair way to do this, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I can see them and you can't. So I'll let you pick. Okay. So that was round one. Yeah. So the next match for the quarterfinal.
If you hear a whistling, if you're wandering around rural Venezuela, be aware you may have encountered El Ciblon. Now, El Ciblon, or known as the Whistler, is a malevolent spirit said to be tall and gangling that lurks in trees. When you hear it, it could herald death. The story goes that in life, El Ciblon was a bit of a waster, a bit of a spoilt child. His mother and father did everything for him. They worked hard while he lounged around just enjoying himself. But one day, this greedy nature took a turn for the worse. Father, he declared, go and fetch me some venison. I want to eat deer. And so his father went off begrudgingly, as he often did, to go and fetch his son some deer. And the son was stewing over just not having everything he wanted quicker. And when his father returned, not having been able to find any deer, his son was enraged. And not only did he berate his father, he attacked him, bludgeoning him to death. Now, this wasn't enough because he still didn't have any meat. And so he took his knife and cut the heart and lungs from his own father, took these organs and presented them to his mother. Mother, cook these for me. I'm hungry. And so she started to cook. But she noticed the smell, the size of these, even the taste was different. And realizing that her husband should have been back a long, long time ago, she put two and two together and realized that her husband had been slain and she was now cooking his organs. She screamed, she berated him, she threw him out of the house. But this wasn't enough. He had to be punished. And so she fetched her father. Now, her father wasn't going to put up with any of this nonsense. He tied up the boy, had him dragged through the streets, tied to a post, and then lashed until his back was raw and bloody. He was still alive, and it's reported that he cleaned his wound, but then poured lemon in there as well, lemon juice. In agony, he was sent off with his own father's bones strapped to his back, but soon after him were sent the hunting dogs that his grandfather owned. It's said they chased him into the woods and tore him apart. And ever since then, he has been seen. It's said that the grandfather uttered one last curse. May you bear those bones on your back for all of eternity. And he does. He has been seen wandering around farmsteads and rural areas, whistling. And as I said, some people say that if you hear this whistle, it is heralding death, a bit like the Black Chuck, a bit like these black dogs that you see sort of in British folklore. Some people say that he goes after the greedy. Some people say he goes after drunks or womanizers. There is even another legend that if he is outside whistling, counting bones as he goes in the sack, if you hear him, you are safe. But if you don't hear him, if you don't keep an ear out for him and he's there, that means you're doomed. There are a couple of things that apparently can stop him. The most prevalent of which in the legend seems to be the sound of a dog's barking. But yes, that is my cryptid.
Wow, that's another one I haven't heard of before.
I hadn't until you sent it to me, but it's a fascinating bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's kind of elements that I've heard in other tales before, maybe, because
absolutely.
as folklore tends to do.
I mean,
Yeah. All
eating
right.
your own father, that's yeah, that's a pretty big sin at any point in history, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting. Okay, so he's going to be up against the Tuttle Bottom Monster.
That's a fantastic name.
So, kind of got similarities to my last one, to be honest. But the Tuttle Bottom Monster haunts the heavily wooded, swampy lowlands north of Harrisburg in Illinois. It's a creature deeply ingrained in local Saline County legend since the 1960s. Now, unlike the classic Bigfoot archetype, the beast is universally described as a large, hairy, bipedal figure with a truly distinctive and utterly strange feature. It
Hmm.
has an enormous, elongated snout, often likened to that of a giant anteater. The sightings did peak in 1963, often by teenagers frequent in the remote area, prompting dozens of reports to the Harrisburg Police Department over subsequent years, with witnesses reporting a creature that was sometimes seen on four legs but often stood on two. The sheer oddity of the description led to local theories that the creature was not a natural cryptid, but an animal that had escaped or was intentionally released into the wild by a government or zoo, giving it a kind of uniquely modern conspiratorial twist, right?
Yeah,
So, yeah, that I mean that's pretty much it. It's one of those things that just gets cited. Um, it's fairly unique, I think, an anteater faced cryptid?
Yeah. I don't know. That's a difficult one. I mean, I'd be more scared of mine, I guess.
Depends what noise it makes. If it barks like a dog, yours is going to run away.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
That's all you've got to do is kind of go woof
Right.
woof. Anyway.
Google that right now.
Okay, so AI overview from a quick Google search says that it's said to make a hissing sound, but some accounts mention a fear-inducing howl.
Oh, that's close to a bark. Yeah, it's
Hmm.
also a dog
Um,
noise.
Others mention hearing roars or screams.
Oh, the other thing that can that is anathema to my cryptid, something that it hates, something that it despises is whips. So get your whip out, and yeah, the whistler will run away. Um,
Whoop-ah!
whoop-ah! So again, I'm going to go with mine. I think, just because it's a more horrible story.
I don't know. Anteaters are quite big, and yours is just a
They're
small
not
boy, right?
that big. No, it's not a boy. I say it's a boy. It's like a teenager. As I said, the
It's
figure
a boy.
itself,
anyone younger than me is a boy, Andy. At
the
my
figure's
age.
supposed to be 6 foot something tall or more.
Mm,
I'd also like hang out in treetops. No idea why, but
okay. Okay. Well, for the sakes of arguments,
uh,
I'm gonna say that mine would win.
okay. I'm gonna go on beer.
Well, then I guess you take it again, Mr.
As I said,
Stevens.
mine would be scarier. It's I
So
guess it
what?
also
If
depends
you've
if you
gone,
know the legend. Because if some tall, gangly dude was whistling at me, it would be like, oh, that's a bit creepy. But then, like, if I saw the anteater guy, I'd actually probably shit myself a bit more. So, I
look,
think maybe that's unfair. But if you know the legends, let's say you see them and you know them both because you listen to Wyrd Wessex or something, um, I think you'd be more scared of, yeah, I think you'd be more scared of the Whistler, of El
to
Silbón.
be to be honest, whatever category you picked, you would have won that.
Really, is it just literally just a better cryptid, or
It's
I
just a
say
better
better?
cryptid. Yes. So you are 2 for 2 at the moment, considering you said I was gonna rig the system and cheat.
Ah, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. And Craig comes back with his astonishing victory. And the crowds go wild. Yeah, I can see it now.
I didn't mention actually, so as we're on cryptids as well, I've got my cryptid Bigfoot Museum t-shirt on that Eric sent me.
That is a good
So it's
good
one for
t-shirt.
the.
I like it.
All right. So number 3, what have you got, Andy?
From the darkest depths of Cornwall, flying straight out of the 1970s onwards, with an impressive wingspan, glowing red eyes, bringing terror into the hearts of people that see it. We have the Owlman. The Owlman's origins are unknown. They say it's about human size with a great old wingspan, a human like body but covered in feathers. And as I said, huge, large, sort of circular disc like eyes that glow red, causing a fear that just roots you to the spot. Some people say it's no face. Some people say that there is a face and it's quite a sinister one. It hisses, it screeches. It doesn't seem to hurt people too much. It has an affinity for church towers. Is it some interdimensional being? Is it a true cryptid, some creature that we don't know about? Is it a European eagle owl that's escaped its captivity? Or is it a Timu Mothman? Who knows? But it is the Cornish Owlman.
Yes, I do like the owl man. I do think it probably was just an escaped eagle owl.
Yeah, I know, I know.
Or to be honest, I mean, you've seen a barn owl like at the ATC. If that barn owl flies at you in the night, it's a pretty like whoa.
Yeah, it's like literally just bombed over me, sort of thing. And it was, yeah, and the barn owls are small, I mean, I used to
That's what I
fly a
mean.
European eagle owl and they're fucking big. Like they take out small deer.
How did you get on the back of one of those?
It was actually 12 of them.
In a trench coat.
Yeah, that's it. No, I had my foot on one, and then I had a foot on each one, and then the rest
Like
of them were pulling,
skis.
pulling me along like on reins.
Or is
Oh
it like
man!
Freya with a chariot of cats? Like you've got a chariot of owls. So, okay, so your Owlman is going to be pitted against the Shellycoat.
Oh, oh,
Hmm. So the Shellycoat is a mischievous water spirit from Scottish and Northern English folklore, classified as a boggle or a goblin. A goblin-like fetch that haunts rivers, streams, and coastal areas. Its appearance is defined by its coat, a covering of shells and marine detritus that rattle and clattle. Clattle? That's another word.
that's great.
Rattle and clattle. Clatters. Put my teeth back in. That rattles and clatters with every single movement, loudly announcing its proximity. The creature is primarily known for a single cruel signature attack. It hides near the water and mimics a distressed human crying out, "Lost, lost!" to lure travelers to their aid. However, this is pure psychological warfare. The sound is a deception, leading rescuers on a long, exhausting, and futile chase away from the genuine danger. As the victim collapses from exhaustion, the Shellycoat emerges with a burst of derisive, horse-like laughter and a final terrifying clatter of its shell coat. But yeah, so the creature is a master of misdirection and malice, deliberately preying on human kindness to inflict exhaustion and humiliation. Is its kind of main traits there, which doesn't really work against an owl man.
So that's the thing. It depends if they're pitting against each other. Potentially, the Owlman would win. I don't know though, but like yours kind of does more harm, and I'd probably, if I had to face off one or the other, like given the reputations of them, even though the Owlman might creep me out a bit more, I think the Shellycoat would possibly be a nastier thing to come up against.
But that's if you were against it. What we're talking here is the Owlman versus the Jellycoat, surely.
Um, yeah, in that case, I don't know.
Yeah, see?
I mean,
So
I
it's
feel like
if,
I have to argue for the Owlman because it's my card. But what do you think? What do you think?
as creatures, if they were just put into an arena and they were fighting each other, maybe they'd be equally matched. But the fact that the Shellycoat just kind of relies on deception, I don't think the Owlman's going to fall for the deception.
Nice. Yeah, fair enough.
Which means that
I
the
mean,
Owlman maybe takes it from that perspective. And they've got the air angle, I guess. Like if they were to attack from the air, would they? What's the
yeah,
arena? Is it in the ocean or is it on the land? Or
I think it's on the land, but obviously you've got
Hmm.
air as well and things to perch on. I mean,
I'm
try,
tempted to
think,
say the Owlman would take it, to be honest.
yeah, with the Owlman, he is also sort of, you know, he is like a super villainous kind of counterpart to Batman in this alternative universe in DC, where
I
wait,
thought more Mothman, which
that's a different Owlman I'm thinking of. There's a character in DC called Owlman.
okay.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I think the Owlman edges that one. So
Go on then.
what are the qualifiers again?
So fear factor, strength, stealth, deadliness, or mythos.
Oh, I'm gonna say Mythos.
You took it by 1 point, Andy. That's a
Damn.
7 versus a 6 for Shellycoat. I'll be honest, again, doesn't matter what you picked, you would have won.
Yeah, which is yeah, it's interesting, and I think it's the mythos is there just because it's a more modern one. It's a bit more kind of documented, I guess, with the Owlman in terms of like more modern sightings. Also, again, a lot more of a hoax or just a misidentification where the Shellycoat's like a proper bit of folklore. So in my heart, I want the Shellycoat to win. But yeah, okay.
So the third round of fight starts with.
The Leshy.
We may as well end it there, mate. I mean, you win the whole thing. Thank you for watching. Stay weird.
If you find yourself wandering across the forests of Central Europe, do not dick with the trees. Do not mess with nature. Do not even think about desecrating those sacred grounds, for you may anger the Leshy. The Leshy is this tall, muscular humanoid figure with sort of long drooping foliage-like hair coming down from around it. In some accounts, with antlers crowning his head, the very stereotypical horned god image. And because he is a god, he is a Slavic god, possibly stemming back to Horowitz, who is a Slavic forest god. Now, the size and sort of musculature and the stature of this figure does change, but he always seems to be big, sort of crashing through the trees. He does have a bit of a reputation for misguiding people through the forest as well, so maybe a bit of a trickster or maybe just protecting him, but he has been characterized again and again as this sort of nature's guardian, a protective spirit. Um, and it does seem to depend on how you interact with the forest. If you are reverent, if you take good care not to hack things down, leave the place a mess, the leshy might even leave you alone, possibly even protect you and watch out for you. But if you do mess with the forest, then you'll be answering to him, and he's not kind to those who disrespect his grounds. Interestingly, he is a bit of a hero, as you know, a lot of these things, they're mischievous or downright evil, but um, there's also stories of the Leshy that I don't know whether these ones stem back to the Porowit, but the Leshy is said to be a savior of mistreated children. In some of the stories, you know, someone's being beaten or starved or being forced to work for cruel parents or uncles and aunts. The Leshy comes and sort of whisks them away to sort of join his kind of almost forest elves, I guess, servants of the forest. But yeah, kind of almost like a fey-like creature in a lot of ways. You've heard of the Leshy before, right?
Yes. Not convinced that it's a cryptid.
Yeah, it depends. Again, it comes back to that what
Mm.
you define as a
Well, do gods count as
cryptid.
cryptids? Because I
Mm.
don't think they do. In which case, you're out of the category straight away.
As
I'm kicking you out.
I said, like the descriptions change a lot. Um, and sometimes he is very much like that kind of forest guardian, almost like a human with just slightly mossy, scraggly hair, almost like a dark Tom Bombadil sort of figure.
Yeah.
He goes along sort of walking with a stick or a cudgel, or like a whip in some stories. I guess that's to avoid the whistler.
Whoopah!
Just got some notes on some of the sounds it makes are quite terrifying. These big sort of booming roars through the forest, or sometimes it's sort of chitter chattering, sort of whistles and clicks and laughs. And I think that would mess you with it. It sort of surrounds you.
Mm.
And he can apparently go pretty much anywhere in the forest he wants at any point. He's very much that Tom Bombadil. Um, Now, some people kind of take the Leshy as a one singular figure. Others take it as like almost like a forest dwelling race. And maybe those children that are taken away become Leshies themselves. And there's stories of
Ooh.
like Leshy homes, these sort of um, kind of, you know, sort of mossy kind of Bender hut style dwellings. And even a Leshy king, sort of like a Leshy, or it was known as the Leshy. Um, but yeah, it's an interesting one. I guess that's what makes it a cryptid, I suppose, in the sense that
Mm.
it's gone from a god to that, to like perhaps like, you know, stories of fairies, which arguably is what the Tuatha in Irish folklore are, who later became the fairies, were these like demigod creatures, which in turn stemmed from the old Irish gods that got replaced by Christianity, you know? So you've gone from like God to demigod legendary figure to Fae, you know, which are cryptids in a way.
I do like the artwork for that one as well.
So there are rituals for summoning the Leshy, apparently, which I don't know, I
Let's
think
do it
maybe we need
now.
to I don't have a
Go.
birch rod, but apparently you've got to make a take a young birch tree and make a circle and then you remove a cross that you've tied to it, and then shout, "Grandfather!
Ooh.
Grandfather!
Father!
Father!" Um, And also at crossroads, you can talk to them and get your fortune like sent to you by the Leshy in a forest crossroads. Some of the photos, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Some of the pictures depict him. He's also like this ghillie suited figure with antlers, you know. So I don't know, maybe that's another Halloween costume for me. So yeah, that is the Leshy.
Okay, so the Leshy's going to go up against the Lizard Man.
Oh.
Now, I don't know if this is the same Lizard Man from the recent series of, let's say recent, the most recent series of the X-Files with Rhys Darby, who played he was like a
Yes.
were-lizard. Well, he wasn't a were-lizard, was he? Because he was a lizard that became a man rather than a man that became a lizard.
Yeah.
I think it was like a twist on that. Anyway, so the legend of the Lizard Man centers around a frantic period in the summer of 1988 in the swamplands near Bishopville in South Carolina. Again, I'm going back to the
You're all
States.
getting all the Yankee ones.
Not the Shellycoat,
True. True.
not the Shellycoat, but the rest have been, yeah. So, the creature's terrifying reign began with an infamous sighting by a 17-year-old Christopher Davis who was changing a flat tire near Scape or Swamp late at night. Davis reported a massive 7-foot tall bipedal creature with glistening green, scaly skin, 3 long fingers with claws, and distinctive glowing red eyes. Unlike many cryptids who flee, the Lizard Man was immediately aggressive, charging at Davis's car, tearing off a side view mirror, and reportedly
Ooh.
jumping onto the roof, leaving behind deep gouges and scratch marks. The incident was quickly followed by reports of similar automobile attacks, with witnesses finding severe damage, including chewed bumpers and tooth marks on the metal. The law enforcement took the incident seriously, and deputies discovered enormous 3-toed footprints near the swamp. Though the initial sightings tapered off, the story of the powerful reptilian humanoid, a creature that actively and aggressively attacks metal and motor vehicles, remains one of the most uniquely weird and compelling encounters in American cryptid history. So, yeah, who do we think is going to win between Leshy and the Lizard Man?
See, my money would be on Leshy because he's a god. Um,
Sounds like a children's book, Leshy and the Lizard Man,
it does, doesn't it?
or a really, really terrible hipster band. So you're
But
saying Leshy is going to take this one?
I think so. I've got a feeling the cards might say differently, but my money would be on Leshy, being that he is a god.
That's the problem. If we count him as a god, then it's kind of difficult for a lizard man to be him.
I'm going to go on strength, actually.
And the lizard man takes it.
Damn, bullshit, horse shit. There's a fucking
84
god, man.
versus 40.
40. All right, all right.
You would have lost whatever you went with.
I mean, to be fair, again, I'm not someone that tends to disrespect forests, so like I think I'd let you know I'd be pretty chill. Whereas a lizard man, that'd be quite scary.
Round 5.
Hmm.
What have you got?
Once upon a time, in the haunting pine barrens of New Jersey, lived old woman Leeds. Some say she was a witch. She lived in a cabin in the woods, and as good witches do. She had 12 children, but she was pregnant with the 13th. As she was giving birth, this birth was different to the others. There was great pain, there was bad omens, thunder and lightning, the windows were rattling. And it is said that on the point of birth, she exclaimed, "Let the child be the devil!" Now, this child came out, and it was no mortal creature. This thing was said to have had the head of a goat, or a horse, sort of bat wings, very leathery and scaly, horns, and small but viciously clawed hands. Some of the tales say it's got cloven hooves, others say that it's got talons and a forked tongue lolling out and a fork-like tail as well. This is the Jersey Devil. Now, the Jersey Devil is said to haunt the Pine Barrens, and there's been sightings for over a century. Some people say that it was some pact with the devil that Old Woman Leeds made, Mother Leeds, in other terms. Some people say that this creature's father was the devil himself. Now, A lot of these sightings you can probably take with a pinch of salt, like a lot of them. Some people say it was some um, throwback to pagan beliefs, sort of colonial Americans sort of having their fears of this new strange world sort of manifest. Um, but it was enough that there were several hunts for these things with quite sizable bounties put on them. And these sightings have gone all the way through to the modern era. And a lot of people, and I mean, the Pine Barrens is a really expansive bit of land, and there is something unsettling just in the pictures of it. And I've spoken to people who've gone camping there, and they've said time and time again, it's just not right. It's just flat, thick pine trees, like for miles and miles and miles, and it is so easy to get turned around in there. And people, even who might not believe in this, are there just waiting to hear this like hissing and this blood curdling scream of the Jersey Devil. One thing I did see as well is some people started doing hoaxes to try and when it was sort of in and out of fashion. And one hoax included a kangaroo equipped with artificial claws and bat wings. But yeah, some people also say that it was possibly something invented as a bit of a scare tactic because there were these, like I said, big, expansive land there and really easy to get lost in. And there were these sort of highwaymen and sort of brigand gangs. The Pine Robbers were the big one. And so it might have been either attached to them or they may have even spread it themselves.
Okay, so mine is the Oofbethur.
Okay, not heard of that one.
Maybe you haven't, I just said it wrong. In medieval Iceland, there are times when mothers weren't able to afford to care for their newborns as they already had enough children. Then they would leave their babies alone out on the lava fields where they would eventually die. And it is said that the babies after death would turn into a ghost known as an Oofbethur. Their appearance is that of a bird, a raven. Their colour is dependent on the colour of the cloth the mother wrapped her child in. Oofbethur flutter around. If one is seen, you shall not hesitate to follow it, as it will eventually lead to their mother. They howl immensely during bad weather, and they don't speak with an exception when an Oofbethur visits its mother in a sheepfold, reciting the following verse. My mother in the fold of sheep, do not worry, do not weep. I shall lend you my blood-red rag for you to wear, for you to wear. Problem is that doesn't make it sound very aggressive, does it? It's just like I've got a baby fighting for me now.
I mean, it's a weird demon undead raven baby.
It's an undead raven baby, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's basically it, mate. It's just just classic, undead
Your
raven
classic
baby.
undead raven baby. You got run of the mill, isn't it? I'm going to go with the Jersey Devil on this one. Don't get me wrong. The dead baby ravens, there is something quite terrifying about that, Wouldn't want to run across one. But the Jersey Devil, I think, has this one, especially if we're going with the epic folklore backstory rather than, sort of augmented kangaroos. Yeah, what do you reckon?
Jersey Devil. Gotta be.
Yeah, it's gotta be. But for the sake of using our stats, I'm going to go with Mythos.
Yes, you take it with a 9-5 ratio. If you'd said fear factor, I would have took it. But other than that, it's yours.
Oh, interesting. I thought about fear factor, but I thought again there is something quite sinister about dead baby raven babies. Dead baby ravens aren't sinister. That's just sad.
Round 6.
Round 6, and I am going with. Now, this is an interesting one. Now, in the folklore of southern Chile, this creature is, again, kind of connected to babies. But it takes a dark, scarier turn. Now, according to legend, the firstborn child of a household that is less than 9 days old is sometimes kidnapped or even given in exchange for some dark favor or power by the parents to a wizard, essentially, a Chilean wizard, by a brujo, chilote, which is apparently, a Chilean wizard, a warlock. And Sometimes in these stories, especially in European ones, being christened kind of protects you from these sort of things. But these warlocks had the power to unchristen you or unbaptize you. Then begins the process. First of all, the warlock breaks the baby's right leg and twists it over their back. Now, as the child grows, deformed, it starts taking on monstrous qualities. Its skin turns a bluish, sort of corpse-like hue. Their tongue becomes forked, their teeth become sharp. And it applies sort of the warlock applies these sort of magic salves and creams and sort of ointments to the child to make it get thick sort of skin and thick hair coarse all over it. Um, it is fed purely on the flesh of goats and the milk of black cats. And eventually it moves on from this to human remains dug up from cemeteries in various states of decay. It has a particular job. This thing is set to guard the caves and the hovels that these warlocks live inside. But it can also be sent off on errands. Now, these errands aren't going and fetching the milk and stuff like that. These are things like seeing curses enacted and getting revenge for the warlock on transgressions against him. Now, it can't really leave the cave unless the cave is either unsafe and the warlock leaves, but sometimes it can be sent out as well. Um, and also, the warlocks tend to take them along as bodyguards when they're traveling. According to the lore as well, these creatures can be used for scaring villagers, for kidnapping people, and heralding misfortune and curses upon villagers as well. It's also said that these creatures take on magical abilities. While they're not trained by the warlock, just being around the warlock kind of imbues them with a innate sense of magic. This is the Umbunchi.
All right, so you're Imbunche. Imbunche, is that what we said?
Yes, the
Imbunchi.
Umbunchi.
Okay. So your Imbunche is going up against. Now, anyone that's been paying attention to our Halloween shorts will know this one already. Jenny Greenteeth.
Ah,
The
fantastic.
classic Jenny Greenteeth. So, hailing from the waterways of northern England, particularly Lancashire and Cheshire, Jenny Greenteeth is a malevolent river hag or water boggle, often used to frighten children away from dangerous pools, ponds, and canal banks. She is typically described as having green mottled skin, long, straggly hair, and most famously, sharp pointed teeth. Said to lurk just beneath the surface, especially in stagnant pools choked with duckweed or pond scum, which in itself is sometimes referred to as Jenny Greenteeth, the duckweed. But yeah, her method is simple and terrifyingly swift. She waits for an unwary child or elderly person to approach the edge, reaches out with her long arm, and drags the victim down to a watery fatal doom. Also worth mentioning, it's kind of closely related to the Grindilo, which is a bit more relevant to our part of the in these
Yeah,
Wessex lands. So yes, Imbunchi versus Jenny Greenteeth. Depends whether there's a pond nearby for her to hide in.
this is true, or whether the warlock has brought the Umbunchi out of the cave. I mean, I'm going to go with the Umbunchi, obviously being my card, but also I think it'll take the edge.
I think it's going to come down to where they're fighting, isn't it? It's like
Yeah, realistically, like some of these creatures sort of rely on having a certain, a
I
sort of
feel like the Imbunche is not particularly bright, and if it was near the water's edge, it would be lured in by her arm and dragged under.
yeah,
So I'm gonna go with Greenteeth because I keep siding with you on all of these.
yeah.
So for argument's sake, I'm gonna go Jenny Greenteeth.
Okay,
But let's settle it once and for all. Pick a category.
strength.
Greenteeth takes it by 4.
Damn.
74 to 70. Um, and to be honest, wouldn't have mattered what you picked on that one. Jenny would have taken all of them.
Damn, wasn't did not see that coming.
That's because she came from under the murky water and dragged you down to the depths.
All right, we're on 4-2 now.
Yeah, indeed. All right, round seven.
Okay. So
What
this
you got?
cryptid takes us to the frozen northern reaches of the Americas. In Inuit mythology, it is said that if children wander too close to the water, it's not just drowning they might have to worry about, not just a polar bear or any of the other mishaps that can happen. If they wander too close to the water, they might be snatched by the Calipiluit. The Calipiluit
Bless you.
are creatures that lurk in the water very close to the edge of the ice near Inuit settlements. They're said to have a green, sort of slimy sheen to their skin, with sort of bedraggled long hair and long, sort of cracked, scratching fingernails. They've got webbed hands and feet suited for swimming around beneath the ice. And in some accounts, they have scales and fins. Uh, they do seem to wear clothing, though, very similar to that of Inuit, which means maybe they were once upon a time human, or maybe they're stolen from their victims. These are said to be made of a sort of a multitude of different materials, one of which being duck feathers, and they use these sort of big coats to stuff these children they snatch inside. Um, it's not just their long grasping hands that can do you harm, though. Like so many of these cryptids, it's the sound they make, this sort of howling, undulating screech that just paralyzes its victims, rigid with fear, waiting to be snatched, kind of like a frozen Jenny Green Teeth in a way. Um,
Yeah, I was going to
and
say it's sounding a lot like green teeth at the minute.
not, sort of content with these horrifying attributes. It is also said that they can change their appearance or disguising themselves to better sort of approach these human settlements. Um, they're referred to as sort of female quite often, but there's no real definite answer. But they have sort of these feminine traits to them in their appearance. And yeah, and one story that I was sort of looking up quickly while researching these. And again, you see some of this, like quite often it's to maintain youth or beauty. In this case, it's their long sort of hair. We don't know whether they eat the children, whether they turn them into other sort of creatures like themselves. Um, and yeah, as I said, it might just be to keep them young or to keep their hair long as well. There is a way to get around them, though, and it involves outsmarting them. So when they're in their true form, it's said that they are sort of quite pretty much impervious to harm. But if you can get them to change shape, then it can be killed. So if it, for example, turns into an aquatic creature to swim away, they can be speared or clubbed just like a whale or a seal or a shark, something like that. I know there are some dark tales as well of children actually being traded to them as well. Either in return for gifts or favor or being left alone, or in some cases just because it was times of hardship and there was too many mouths to feed. And so you feed one of those mouths to something else and it sort of lightens the load. But what have you got going up against the Caterpillowits?
I think I might maybe might take this one. Um, so I've got the Goat Man.
The Goat Man.
Mm,
Is it a goat?
or a man. Yes. It's a sinister urban legend primarily rooted in the woods and rural areas of Prince George's County in Maryland, although similar legends do exist elsewhere. This creature is typically described as a hybrid bipedal entity, combining the hairy legs, hooves, and prominent horns of a goat with the torso and powerful arms of a man, making him a modern monstrous take on the classical satyr or faun. According to the most popular origin story, the Goat Man was a scientist working at the Beltsville Agricultural Research Center who, after an experiment involving goats that went horribly wrong, he was mutilated into a terrifying beast.
Oh, like the fly.
Yeah. Uh,
Sorry, I'm imagining this like mad scientist, like mwah, mwah, nah, nah.
yeah, just like that. He probably didn't notice, and then he went for a wee, and he went to undo his flies. He went, "Oh no!"
Oh,
Meanwhile, there's a goat with a human head somewhere. I guess if is the flip of that.
yeah,
Um.
just like what the fuck?
So yeah, the no wait, it's the wrong way around, isn't it? Sorry, it'd be a goat with a
Mm,
human's legs.
that's weirdly more terrifying.
I know. I'm like, hang on a minute. Can I have that instead?
It's it's like the that Red Dwarf episode where they're in the virtual reality and Cat wants a mermaid, and it's the head of a fish and like the legs of a human woman, and he's like, "Why would you want it the other way around?"
So yeah, the creature is known for its extreme territorial aggression, particularly targeting cars again. Something about cars. The lizard man was the same, wasn't it?
Hmm.
It targets cars and young people on isolated roads near Fletchertown. Oh, sorry, Fletchertown Road. Reports often involve the sightings of a hulking axe-wielding figure, accompanied by disturbing screams and occasionally the discovery of brutally mutilated animal remains.
Oh,
Yeah, to be honest with that, I'm siding with the goat man
I
versus
think.
your
I mean, for strength, pound for pound, I think the Goat Man. You know, this
hmm.
like horrible, gross, siren-esque sort of caterpillar comes out, and the Goat Man's just like meh, and just like butts her back into the sea. I could see that.
Hmm.
So I'm the only thing I think I could stand up on that one is either mythos or fear. So I'm gonna go mythos.
Mythos is 9 for the goat man, 7.
Damn.
Anyway, goat man takes that one.
What would have been fear? Just out of interest.
Fear factor. Nah, goat man gets 98 versus 79 on that.
Is there anything kind of
You would have
below?
won on
I
nothing.
should have gone stealth.
You would have lost.
On stealth, bullshit. They hide out and they can
Oh,
change shape.
sorry. No. You would have won by 1 point. Sorry.
Oh yeah, because goat men are notoriously stealthy.
Well, apparently yours only has a stealth of 8 for some reason.
The fuck?
Oh. Hey, this is why we're using cards. Don't blame the messenger. So the last round of the quarterfinals, what have you got, Andy?
Well, it is something that is sausage shaped, 2 feet long, and will
Uh,
kill you in an instant.
is it
Get your
one
mind out of the
piece?
gutter. I'm talking, of course, about the Mongolian Death Worm, terrifying cryptid of
Oh,
Mongolia, and my new band name. The Mongolian Death Worm.
hmm.
It's an old one. It's one of those ones I have heard of before, and it is said to be so venomous. One touch means instant death, and it's sort of said to live in sort of the arid sort of regions, sort of around the sort of Gobi Desert and things like that. It can travel around underground like some horrifying miniature sandworm from Dune, but it can surface. And even if you are far away from it and you think, shit me, I'm not going near that, that's a Mongolian death worm. I've listened to Wyrd Wessex. It can still get you. It can spray venom at you. And some people even say electrocute you. So the only saving grace, it doesn't come to the surface very much, apart from occasionally sort of come and take water and a little bit of food. That's really all I need on that one, I think. I think it was an inspiration, or one of the inspirations for Frank Herbert when he did the sandworms for Dune as well.
Gotta be.
Um,
Also, Tremors.
Tremors, yeah, gotta be. Which I'd say Tremors was sort of inspired by Dune, which was inspired by the Mongolian Death Worm. But
Mm.
yeah, Tremors was
Tremors is a
great.
lot more fun, to be honest.
Oh,
That's
100%, 100%. I mean, the first two or three were the best. It kind of went on a bit long, but I did love Tremors. What have you
yes.
got to go up against the Mongolian Death Worm?
Amicuk.
Excuse me?
The Amicuk is a peculiar, lesser known aquatic, again, we're back to the water, cryptid from Inuit folklore. And again, it concerns the dangers of the sea.
Which makes sense, doesn't it, them telling these stories?
Yeah, I mean, described as a strange, amorphous creature that lives on the ocean floor, often dwelling among the kelp and rocks near the coastline. Physically, the Amicuk is noted for its tentacle-like appendages and is sometimes depicted as having a body that resembles a turtle or sea worm, quite different. Capable of moving quickly across the seabed. Its primary characteristic is not outright aggression, but its method of ensnaring the unwary. It is said to weave nets of kelp on the ocean floor to catch fishing lines or drag down the anchors of kayaks and canoes, pulling the vessel and its unfortunate occupant into the depths.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean that's kind of all you need to know, really. Unless we're fighting from a boat, I think you're going to win this one.
Yeah, I mean, I am straight up going for the Mongolian Death Worm, obviously, but I genuinely think it is the most or one of the most powerful things that we've mentioned so far in
Yeah,
terms of
but
its supposed
all right.
abilities.
But can it breathe underwater? Can it swim?
I don't know. Do you want to find
Hmm.
out?
Do we put it in a boat and find out if it can survive in a boat? I don't know.
Uh, yeah, I mean, what do you reckon?
It's a land-based thing. I don't believe it could swim. I don't believe it can row a boat.
No, no,
Um,
but
but
can yours come
but
out of the sea and go and hunt down the Death Worm?
like for like, yeah, I'm gonna have to say the Death Worm would take it if they were in an arena, I guess.
Hmm.
I think the Death Worm's probably the stronger of the two. It would just win
Yeah,
on kind of brutality rather than anything else.
yeah, being able to just straight up murder, instantly.
Yeah, but that's not how this works, Andy. You know the score.
All right, so one last time, what are the stats?
Fear factor, strength, stealth, deadliness, mythos.
I'm going to go for deadliness on this one.
Yeah, you take it by 6 points.
I'd hope so.
Yeah. You'd have
So
won on
it's
anything on that one, to be honest.
fair enough. So it is 5-3.
All right, so that is the end of the quarterfinals. We calling them quarters? Yes, we're into the
Yeah.
semi-finals. Okay, so obviously we don't need to go through descriptions again. So this is going to move a lot quicker at this point. We're just going to pitch one for one, I guess, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so these are in the order they came off still, right? So we have Shadow People versus El Silbón.
Okay. Now, as we're not repping these because they were both my picks, do you want to take one, or shall we just together decide on
No,
which?
I think the cards were just a way of getting through the cryptid, so
Yeah.
it doesn't matter whose they were. This isn't about you and me, Andy. This goes beyond
It's
you and me. This is
always it's
about
always about
cryptids.
that.
Maybe, but this is about the cryptids for today. Just for today, we're going to put our differences aside.
All right, fair enough.
Partly because I'm probably not going to win this at this point, but um, so Shadow People, El Silbón. This is without like revisiting stats or anything like that first. Let's
Yeah.
decide who we think would win. Again, I said earlier though, like the Shadow People don't have any physical form, right?
Mm.
I think other than fear, they don't have much going for them.
Yeah,
But
which is
that
an
means
argument
El
for and
Silbón
against
can't,
them.
yeah, because then El Silbón can't attack them because they're not physical. And he's got, well, but he's scared of barking, but they're not going to bark or anything like that.
Hmm.
Ooh, that's a tough match, I think. I mean,
Overall,
he's just a boy though, right? So he's going to get scared by the shadow people and run
I
away.
don't know. I don't know. He literally straight up murdered his own father and ate his organs, or wanted to eat his organs. I assume not just a boy. That's like saying
Okay,
Damien from The
but
Omen is a
yeah,
boy.
but then, but then he starts to see this shadow person, and he's like, "Fuck me, Dad's come back to get me." Ah!
Yeah, that's it. It's do the shadow people like bring that fear, whatever you're scared of, with them?
If they can bring fear, then they can bring barking dog noises.
Okay, so we're going to give this one to the shadow people, do you reckon?
I'm gonna go shadow people,
Yeah.
but in the interest of fairness, you need to pick a category, I guess. Right?
Okay, so
Otherwise,
let's.
we start choosing, which is not.
Well, their primary weapon, much like surprise and other things, is fear, just like the Spanish Inquisition. So,
You're going fair.
should we go fear?
Yeah, so they win 88 to 60. So the shadow people take that one. Silbón would have taken it on deadliness or strength, but that was it. So I
Okay.
think, yeah, so I think we made the right choice. I think shadow people are going into the what are we at? Semi-finals at that point? I don't know
Yeah.
what is that? Quarter semi?
Yeah, so
I don't know.
we're on the quarterfinals now, I think.
Okay. Well, I kept saying we were on the quarterfinals before, so this shows how much I follow sports, people. I have no idea. All right. So the next round would be the Lizard Man, one of mine,
Yep.
versus the Owl Man, one of yours.
Oh. So
Now,
the old
owls eat
man,
lizards.
they do. But the lizard man is a big old lizard.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Lizard Man, I think.
Yeah, I'm down for lizard man on that one.
Okay. But on the interest of categories,
Strength, I would say.
yeah, Lizard Man takes it 84 to 75. Okay. This is another one where it's you versus me, actually. So we have the Jersey Devil
Yeah.
versus Jenny Greenteeth. I'm going to go on gut now and I'm going to say Jersey Devil.
Yeah.
My gut says Jersey Devil could beat Jenny. But if it got near enough to the water's edge, I guess she could pull it under and drown it. So it's
See,
whether she could overpower it.
I'm almost thinking Green Teeth will take this one, but I don't know. I yeah, in a completely selfish way, I want the Jersey Devil to win, but I think the I've got a feeling Jenny might take it.
Put your differences aside, Andy. Think of the cryptids.
This is true. This is true.
Won't somebody think of the cryptids?
So, oh, let's go for stealth.
Jenny Greenteeth, 9 to 7.
There you go. You got another one in the final.
So then, the last matchup is a Mongolian Death Worm versus the Goat Man. So again, it's you versus me.
I think the Mongolian Death Worm gets that. I think literally the Goat Man needs to physically attack something. As soon as it gets close, it spits.
Yeah, I think I'd probably have to agree with you. I don't want to. I kind of like the Goat Man, but
Goat Man's cool, but
I think I'm gonna have to agree. But again, doesn't go on that, Andy. So pick a category.
um, deadliness.
Yes, the Mongolian Death Worm takes it at 96 to 89.
Okay.
Just occurred to me at this point that this is probably the geekiest episode we've ever done.
Absolutely.
We're on point-based systems. Okay, so that will bring us to the finals round,
Semi-finals.
semi-finals. Yeah, you know what I mean. Which is gonna be Shadow People versus Lizard Man.
Okay. So this is how I propose we do it from now on. Rather than us picking necessarily
Mm,
and discussing a stat to do it on, from now
yeah.
on, we match the stats and see which is the overall winner. So overall, I think again you've got that issue with the shadow people that it's kind of hard to hurt them. They're shadow people, right?
Are they even cryptids at this point?
Yeah, in a way, if they're another entity that we don't know if exists or not, it's a cryptid, right?
Well, we do know they exist because we had an expert on the shadow people come on the podcast and
This is
tell us how
true.
they
This is
exist.
true.
Hello, Mike,
So,
if you're listening.
yeah, I was going to say apologies to Mike if we're not selling the shadow people well enough, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think in raw strength though, the lizard man might
Yeah, but the
win it.
strength is useless because it can't grab them.
We don't know that for definite. We can't grab shadow people because we're immobilized,
So
right?
the lizard man maybe has the ability to grab shadow people. We're adding stats now, Andy. Come
No,
on.
maybe we don't know. Who do you think is
Nah.
going to win? Do you think it's shadow people?
We can't do this on maybes, all right? This is the battle to end all battles.
No, I'm asking you. I'm asking you. Who do you think is going to win?
The problem is the same thing every time, right? Like they rely on fear, but I don't think Lizard Man's going to be scared by the shadow people, but it can't grab them, so it can't defeat them as such. Like what makes the shadow people leave?
Maybe a lack of fear.
Well, then in that case, the Lizard Man wins
Hmm.
because I don't think it would fear. I don't think, yeah.
I think
Okay,
everything's
Lizard
got
Man.
a fear. I think everything's got a fear. I'm going to say shadow people, but we'll see.
So you want a total of who wins on which stat? Okay, so let's see. One.
So who wins? Let's go through them. Let's go through them. So who wins on strength?
No, fear factors first, Andy. Get it
All right.
right.
Who wins on fear factor?
The Lizard Man.
One for the lizard man. Who wins on strength?
The Lizard Man.
Who wins on
Stealth.
Stealth.
Shadow people.
Who wins on deadliness?
Lizard Man.
Just well, we know who takes it now, but who wins on mythos? Mythos.
Lizard Man.
Okay, wow, nearly a clean sweep for the lizard man. He is
Yeah,
into the
the
final.
shadow people are out of the game. So we have one finalist, but who is gonna face the Lizard Man in the final? Is it gonna be the Mongolian Death Worm? I suspect it might be, or Jenny Greenteeth.
I'm again down for the death worm unless Jenny gets a real jump on um the death worm. I
Based
think
on the previous argument about things being underwater and if the Death Worm can go underwater,
yeah, which we don't know, you know.
no, but I'm gonna say Death Worm as well.
Yeah.
Um, but on numbers, so we've got fear factor, the Death Worm takes it. Strength, the Death Worm takes it. Stealth, Jenny Greenteeth takes it.
Ooh,
Deadliness, the Death Worm takes it.
gotta be.
Mythos, Jenny Greenteeth takes it.
Okay, so a closer run thing. But
It is
Jenny
closer,
Greenteeth has been poisoned and sinks down to her boggy grave. We
which
have,
unfortunately for us means we have two non-British cryptids in the final.
well, I think the Brits had an honourable showing. We didn't have a massive amount of British folklore in there. We had what, three?
Yes, well, take that up with the manufacturers.
Well, maybe we need to make our own.
Yeah, we are in the final, so my gut feeling one of these is going to win, but it's
I
one of
reckon
yours
one will
versus.
definitely win.
Do you think?
Yeah, one of them will win. So we are on the Lizard Man
Yep.
versus the Death Worm.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go with the Death Worm.
My gut says Death Worm, I'll be honest. It's not where I wanted this episode to go, but here we are.
It's not about you, Craig. It's about the Death Worm. Yeah, I mean, you don't know, unless the Lizard Man has some kind of crazy immunity, I don't see how he's getting out of that one. Anyway, you think the Death Worm could be defeated by the Lizard Man?
No.
I mean, considering some of the opposition, like the Lizard Man's come out like a champ, you know?
I mean, We did originally talk about throwing in a wild card option.
Okay. Do you want to tell me now, or do you want to save it till?
I was going to say, so how do we put the wild card in? Like, do I then say I've got another champion that I'm going to bring in place of one of them? Or
Uh, no, I think it's challenger to the reigning champion.
okay, so let's deal with these first then, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so on fear factor, they're
Mm-hmm.
actually equal, 95
Oh,
each.
wow.
Which is weird because I feel slightly more scared of a death worm, but
Yeah.
apparently they're the same. Strength goes to the death worm.
Wow.
Stealth goes to the lizard man.
That I did not see that coming.
So we are currently
2 to 1
equal,
to.
which is quite good for a final, right? This is
No, it's
like
it's 2 to 1. It's 2 to 1 to a death worm, right?
no, because fear factor was equal.
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. Okay. Oh,
So the death worm takes it on strength, but not on stealth. So we're equal. So it comes down to deadliness and mythos.
we could literally have a tie here potentially.
Okay, so this is exciting, isn't it?
Hmm.
Deadliness goes to the death worm.
Gotta be.
So if the death worm takes mythos, it wins. If it
Oh, it's all
doesn't, we've
down
got
to
a
this.
problem.
I've got to say, before we announce this, I'm very glad that it has come down to one stat, and it is the mythology side of it as well. I like that. I like that
That's
a lot.
good. Yeah, yeah,
We don't.
yeah.
You didn't
And
want it to be like a clean sweep, and then oh well, we've known 3 stats in who's won. You know.
okay, so if the death worm gets mythos, then it wins. If it doesn't,
Then it's a
we're at a
tie.
tiebreaker, which would be the perfect opportunity to bring in.
Your wild card.
People are going to think we made this shit up, Andy, but the lizard man takes it 8-6.
No, really.
What a
Okay.
cliffhanger.
Wow.
So we are tie for tie. Now, whether people agree with this, so personally, I think the Death Worm would have taken it if it was my choice.
Yeah, I agree.
But according to the cards, it's a draw, which means I need to bring out a wild card. I've got a wild card because it's someone that I wanted, and they didn't have a card for this cryptid, unfortunately. So
Okay.
even with the right draw, I never would have got it because this cryptid is not in the cards. So I'm gonna need a prop for this one,
I think I know what you're going with.
which means I'm gonna have to take my headphones off for a second. So I'm not gonna be able to hear you whilst I do this. But I'm just gonna pop these off. I'm gonna have to take this off.
I know what's coming. I knew it. I fucking knew it. Is that the honey monster?
The honey monster is with me right now, Andy. He's live in the room.
I mean,
Watch what you
okay,
say. He doesn't like swearing.
this changes the game because here we have definitive proof on camera that the honey monster exists. Welcome to Wyrd Wessex. Thanks for coming on. So yeah, how would you feel about going up against the Mongolian Death Worm?
I carry a scythe. I'm gonna chop the fucker in half.
Can't he spit at you with his venom?
Yeah, but I'll sting him with all my bees.
This is true. We don't know that he's immune to bees or not. If you were to
Nothing's immune to that many bees.
it's just too many bees. Bees everywhere, covered in bees.
All of the bees.
Covered in bees. So, I mean, if you were going to give yourself stats, what would you say would be your highest out of strength, fear, mythos, stealth, and deadliness? What would be your highest stat?
It's actually really hard to hear you with this thing on. I'm gonna have to take this off, Andy.
It was actually me all along.
Oh my god! Wow.
So
I think that's given more that's brought us more questions than answers.
exactly. So you were asking I could it was really difficult because I could only hear you off the headphones.
Yeah,
So
I was
you
saying
asked
what
what
would his top stat?
stats?
What his top stat would be?
I'm going to say deadliness is probably the top stat, right?
It's a lot of bees.
It's a lot of bees and it's a scythe. So you've got two weapons.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
maybe
it almost took down Beowulf in that famous poem.
this is true. This is true. That ancient sourced historical poem. I
Mm.
mean, what I would imagine is that if I was the honey monster, but I'm not 'cause you are, but if I was the honey
Shh.
monster,
Don't tell people,
if I was the honey monster, I'd
which you're
send
not because it's me.
all the bees, all the
All the
bees
bees.
after the death worm, who would be so busy spitting venom, trying to kill all these bees,
Yeah,
that the honey monster could come in with a scythe.
there you
And
go.
if the honey monster did get killed by the death worm, then the bees would avenge it and it'd be a tie. So I don't think there's any way it could technically lose.
There you have it, folks. It's not the answer anybody wanted.
Nor the one
Wyrd
that you
Wessex
nor the one
takes
that you
it.
deserved.
If you've listened for the last however long this episode turns out to be, then I'm sorry that it came down to that. Or
But
am I?
discounting, if the honey monster didn't exist in this terrifying weird world we live in, which it most certainly does, then it would be the death worm. So honourable mention to the Mongolian death worm for being so
Well,
terrifyingly effective.
I mean, I didn't expect it to go here today, but here we are. The
No,
winner
no,
of the competition
it's Craig by
is me.
by merit of being, even though it was my pick that won technically beforehand, but Craig is the honey monster, so therefore,
Don't tell everybody.
no, it's a big reveal.
I kind of assumed that what you'd do is I'd be like, yeah, but the honey monster takes it with the scythe and the beast. You know, yeah, but Craig, isn't the honey monster just you and you're shit in a fight?
I should have done. I was like, yeah.
Like, Craig, I've seen you in a fight.
He runs up, ready for it. He's going to claim the crown. But then he realizes too late that he can't see or hear a fucking thing in the honey monster mask and falls over. Deathworm doesn't even have to do anything. He just brains himself. But yeah, I had some prizes for you if you won this,
I did
Guess
win
I'll
it.
keep them. True.
Honey monster.
Okay. Well, you win
Mm.
an Ozzy Osbourne keychain.
Oh, okay.
That isn't the present I got you, by the way. You win a few swigs from my bottle of Kraken when you come and visit next week.
A swig from Andy's Kraken. All right.
Get your laughing gear around that. And a very reliable gas canister and and
Considering I literally just returned that to you.
We didn't actually cover that on the Cornwall road trip, but I bought this on the way. We literally went to like 3 different fucking shops trying to find a stove to cook on. So when we're on Dartmoor, we could have coffee and Craig could have his pot noodle. And
You bought a pot noodle too. You just didn't eat it.
this is true. This is true.
And it wasn't a pot noodle. It was one of those fancy Japanese noodle things.
Only the finest catering on our road trips.
Exactly.
Anyway, Craig did manage to get his fancy Japanese pot noodle thing.
Yeah.
However, the next morning, when we were in desperate need of coffee, having survived a chilling night on Dartmoor, avoiding Vixana, it just didn't work, and it didn't work until it worked right at the end. I heated up some cider for us on the last night, but yeah, it was more the faff we went around trying to get this, and we used it twice because it just stopped working. So,
and as a bonus for those that are still listening at this point, because this is that's the end of season 2 of the podcast.
That's it. Yeah.
On to the 3rd and final season next week. Yeah, so I mean, let us know what you think in the comments. Who would you have picked as the winner of the cryptid battle? And likewise, let us know if you want us to do more like this, I guess. Like this was a bit
Yeah,
different to the usual format.
happy
Um,
Halloween, happy blessed Samhain, whatever you worship, whatever you do this time of year.
Happy Samhain to all our
Samhain.
pagans. I know you pagans love a bit of Samhain.
Do love the
And
Samhain.
yeah, and obviously right now this isn't live, so I'm probably out trick or treating, dressed as
The honey
probably
monster.
I no, generally I go as kind of a 42-year-old kind of podcaster kind of look.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's a well-worn costume. You've nailed that one.
I got it. I got it down. Yeah.
And yeah, first time I've spoken to you properly since. So happy 42nd birthday. Craig
Indeed,
is
I
the
now
answer to the life, the universe, and everything, right?
exactly. I can't share what that is until you get there as well, Andy. But honestly, on this side, it's
Fair enough,
something
fair
else.
enough. And is it
Something else.
once you're 43, you're like, yeah, that was actually quite boring.
Yes. So see you next season.
Indeed. Thank you for tuning in and following. Slowly creeping up there. Yeah, thanks very much for sticking with us. Hope you enjoyed it. I imagine most of you have the social medias by now, but should we give them a mention anyway?
Yeah, I mean, we're at Wyrd Wessex everywhere except for Instagram, which is at Wyrd Wessex. Get it right.
That's it.
Website is weirdwessex.co.uk. And if you go there, there is a link to the Redbubble store, which is where you can find our merch. Now, we haven't announced this anywhere, but I guess this is probably as good a time as any, right? So there are some new designs on the web store. So if you want to have a look, we have a Halloween version of this guy, the
Mhm.
Canonos, with a pumpkin head. We have a similar pose, but of Guy Fawkes, as its bonfire night is coming up. And we also have a new Afterward t-shirt. So for fans of Afterward, we have a new owl UFO design that says "Don't blame the owls."
They remain blameless.
They do. So yeah, so those are all currently on the Redbubble store as we speak. So go check those out. But yeah, until next season.
Stay weird.
Stay weird.